From Aesop's Fables, retold by Sally Harton Young. The Jay and the Peacocks. Once upon a time, there was a jay that loved to watch a group of peacocks strut around and preen for each other. He admired their shiny blue feathers. He loved the way their tails, spotted with green and blue, opened like amazing fans. He thought that the peacocks were the most beautiful birds in the world, and that he was drab and ugly in comparison. The jay longed to be as beautiful as a peacock, and to join them as they strolled up and down the park. He felt he would never be beautiful enough, but one day he saw that the peacocks were molting. Their old feathers fell off and were left on the ground. With delight, the jay gathered the fallen feathers from the ground. He tied a collection of tail feathers into his own tail and then hurried to join the peacocks. Holding his head high, the jay strutted back and forth in imitation of the beautiful birds he had watched for so long. Close read. Evaluate details. Highlight details that show how the jay feels about the peacocks. Vocabulary in context. What does molting mean in paragraph 3? Underline a context clue that helps you understand the meaning of the word. Imitation. A copy of something else. Right away, the peacocks knew that the jay was not one of them. Laughing, they pecked at him and pulled their fallen feathers off, leaving him a jay again. Close read. Evaluate details. Highlight details that show the peacock's reaction to the jay when they see him wearing their feathers. Sad and embarrassed, the jay rejoined the other jays who had been watching the spectacle. They too laughed as they told him, "New feathers can't change who you really are." Moral: it's not how you look that counts, it's who you are inside. Close read. Infer theme. Underline details that help you infer the theme before it is stated. How is the theme different from the topic of the fable? Spectacle. Entertaining sight or display. The Lion and the Mouse. Once there was a magnificent lion. He was large, with a bright gold coat and a flowing gold mane. He was also very strong and could run faster than a horse. His white teeth were sharp, and his claws glittered like curved knives in the afternoon sun. Wherever the lion went, the other creatures stared at him in awe and fear. Some of them ran away. Others tried to timidly bow to him as if he were a king. The lion was very proud of himself. He thought he was the most amazing creature anywhere. He believed that all the other animals were right to be impressed and intimidated by him. In the same jungle lived a small brown mouse. She had sleek fur and bright black eyes, but she lived her life in fear. There were dangers everywhere: owls, snakes, foxes, and she felt helpless to protect herself against any of them. She crept around in the shadows and tried not to be noticed by anyone or anything. Close read. Evaluate details. Highlight details that describe the lion and the mouse. How are they different? One day, while the lion dozed in the sun, the mouse was startled by the sight of a hawk in the sky. She dashed for cover. She didn't see the lion until it was too late. She ran right across his nose. The lion jolted out of his peaceful nap, reached out a giant paw and seized the mouse, trapping her easily. "Why did you wake me up?" he snarled, batting her over and then catching her again. "Maybe I'll just have a snack instead, a small snack," he added, chuckling to himself. "Wait, stop!" the mouse cried. "You really don't want to do that." "And why not?" the lion laughed, dangling her in front of his great mouth and terrifying teeth. "You are an amazing and remarkable lion," the mouse said desperately. "But even you might need help someday, and I might be able to repay you and help you in turn." The lion found this idea extremely ridiculous. How could he ever need help? but he was so amused by this idea and pleased by the mouse's flattery that he let her go. Close read. Infer theme. Underline the details that help you infer the theme or moral before it is stated. Remarkable, extraordinary, or amazing. Flattery. Praise that may be dishonest or exaggerated. Some days later, the lion was out hunting in the jungle. He was so focused on tracking his prey that he stumbled into a trap a human hunter had set, and he was instantly caught. No matter how he struggled, he couldn't free himself from the ropes. He gave a great roar of fury and despair that filled the entire forest. The mouse heard the cries and recognized the lion. She hurried to where he was trapped and quickly realized that she had found her chance to help him. She crawled up the ropes of the hunter's net and chewed through them. One by one, they fell away from the lion until he was free. The lion shook the remains of the net away and stood looking gratefully at the mouse. "I never thought it was possible," he said, "but you, a tiny mouse, have saved me when I could not save myself." "We helped each other, and now we are both alive," the mouse replied. Moral: everyone needs help sometimes, and at times, everyone has the power to help someone else. Close read. Infer theme. Underline the lesson the lion learned. How does this lesson help you infer the theme before it is stated? Crow and the pitcher. Crow lived in a lovely forest. There was plenty of food to eat, and she could nest in the tall green trees at night. In the day, she could soar on the gentle breezes and drink water from the sparkling streams and deep, cool lakes among the trees. Close read. Vocabulary in context. Underline a context clue that helps you understand the meaning of the word soar. What prior knowledge about birds helps you use this context clue? But there came a time when the forest suffered a horrible drought. One by one, the streams dried up until they were rivers only of rocks. The deep lakes slowly shrank smaller and smaller into puddles of mud. The trees wilted and food became scarce. As the months passed and there was no rain, Crow decided she must leave her home in order to survive. She knew of a forest 2 days' flight away, so she set off to find a new place to live. It was a long, hot flight. By afternoon, she began to feel very thirsty. Close read. Evaluate details. Highlight details that reveal Crow's problem and how she plans to solve it. When Crow saw a house below her, she eagerly flew down to search for water. There was a pitcher left out on a table on the veranda. Crow quickly flew to it and peeked inside. At first, Crow was startled by her reflection. While never an elegant bird, she was usually plump and healthy with glossy black feathers. Now she was thin and her feathers were dull. She had found water just in time. But then Crow's heart sank in despair. The water in the pitcher was much too low for her to reach. She twisted and turned, but her neck was not long enough to reach inside the narrow pitcher. She thought she might die of thirst. But suddenly she had an idea. Some small pebbles were scattered across the veranda. She picked one up and dropped it into the pitcher, and the water level rose a little. She added pebble after pebble, and the water rose up until she could drink her fill and continue on her way. Moral: desperate situations lead to new solutions. Close read. Infer theme. Underline details that help you infer the fable's theme before it is stated. How is the theme different from the fable's topic? Elegant, graceful and stylish in appearance.